Some children never had a childhood, not because it was taken from them in a single traumatic moment, but because it leaked away day by day, responsibility by responsibility, until one morning they woke up and realized, I've been an adult for years and I'm only 12. Right now, millions of adults are walking around with an invisible wound. They seem fine, competent, calm, remarkably mature, but inside there's a child who never learned how to ask for help, a child who still believes that needing anything makes them a burden, a child who grew up so fast they forgot they were supposed to be a child at all. What happens to the brain when childhood ends before it should? And why do these people struggle to rest, even decades later? To understand what goes wrong, we first need to understand what's supposed to happen. Childhood isn't just play and innocence. It's a crucial developmental stage where your brain learns fundamental truths about the world. Between ages 0 to 12, your brain is asking critical questions. Am I safe? Can I trust others to take care of me? What happens when I make a mistake? Are my needs important? In a healthy childhood, the answers build a foundation. Yes, you're safe. Yes, people will help you. Yes, you can make mistakes and still be loved. Yes, your needs matter. But for some children, the answers are different, not because anyone meant to hurt them. Sometimes it's poverty, illness, addiction, divorce, or just circumstances beyond anyone's control. The parent who needs to work 3 jobs, the family dealing with a sick sibling, the household where emotional chaos is the baseline. These children don't receive answers. They have to provide them. And their brain, desperate for certainty, makes a devastating trade. I'll give up being a child if it means things stabilize. Psychologists call this parentification. But that clinical term doesn't capture what actually happens in the brain of a 7-year-old who's making dinner, mediating fights, or managing a parent's emotions. Let's zoom in and see what happens when a child becomes the adult. Part 1. The brain rewires for survival. Imagine your developing brain as a construction site. Different regions are being built at different times, following a careful blueprint refined by millions of years of evolution. First comes the amygdala, your emotional alarm system. It develops early because babies need to know danger or safety. Then comes the hippocampus, memory formation. Then the prefrontal cortex, planning, impulse control, emotional regulation. This last part doesn't finish until you're 25. Here's the problem. When a child is forced into adult responsibilities, their brain doesn't wait for the prefrontal cortex to finish. It jury-rigs a solution using whatever is available. Think of it like building the top floors of a skyscraper before the foundation is solid. It might stand, but it's not what it should be. The amygdala goes into overdrive, constantly scanning for emotional shifts in the household. Is mom stressed? Is dad drinking? The child becomes hypervigilant. A state that's supposed to be temporary becomes permanent. Their nervous system learns calm is temporary, crisis is inevitable, safety is an illusion. Meanwhile, their prefrontal cortex gets forced online early, trying to solve problems it's not ready for. How do I stop this fight? How do I make everything okay? The child develops pseudo-maturity. They sound wise, they handle things. They seem so much older than they are. But here's what doesn't develop: the neural pathways for healthy dependency, the ability to ask for help without shame, the capacity to rest without guilt, the belief that their needs are legitimate. A study from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child found that children in high-stress, low-support environments show accelerated biological aging. Their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes, are measurably shorter. Their bodies age faster. They're literally growing up too fast on a cellular level. Part 2. The survival skills that become prisons. These children develop extraordinary abilities, emotional intelligence far beyond their years, the capacity to read a room instantly, problem-solving skills that adults twice their age lack. They become the calm one, the capable one, the one everyone leans on. But every superpower has a shadow. Their emotional intelligence becomes hypervigilance. They can't turn it off. Even in safe relationships decades later, they're still scanning for micro-expressions, tone shifts, any sign that something's wrong. They exhaust themselves reading people who aren't threats. Their problem-solving becomes compulsive responsibility. They believe everything is their job to fix. Your friend is upset? Their fault for not helping? Project failed at work? Should have worked harder. Relationship struggling? Must be something they're doing wrong. The thought, "This isn't my responsibility to carry," feels like abandonment. Their independence becomes isolation. They learned early that asking for help means disappointment. Better to handle it alone, better to need nothing. So they build walls so thick they can't let love in, even when it's genuine. Therapy often reveals the same heartbreaking pattern. I want connection, but I can't trust it. What if they leave? What if I'm too much? Better to be alone. One woman described it perfectly. I was 7 when I realized no one was coming to save me. I'm 34 now, and I still can't shake the feeling that needing anything makes me weak. Part 3. The adult who can't rest. Here's where it gets cruel. These children become adults who are phenomenally capable and deeply exhausted. They excel at work because they learned early that your value is tied to your usefulness. They're reliable, competent, always there when needed. But they can't accept praise. They deflect compliments because deep down, they believe they're only worth keeping around if they're solving problems. Rest feels dangerous. Their nervous system learned that calm periods precede disaster. So when things are quiet, they feel anxious. When they try to relax, their brain screams, "You're forgetting something. Something bad is about to happen. Don't let your guard down." This is called hypervigilance conditioning. Their stress response is stuck in the on position. Even when life is objectively safe, their body doesn't believe it. And relationships become a battlefield between opposing needs, desperate for connection, terrified of dependency. They attract partners who need them because being needed feels like love. Then they resent those partners for leaning on them because they're exhausted from a lifetime of carrying others. Then they feel guilty for resenting them because aren't they supposed to be the strong one? The cycle repeats until something breaks, usually them. Now wait, doesn't adversity build character? Aren't some struggles good for development? Yes and no. There's a crucial distinction psychologists make between challenge and overwhelm. Challenge is age-appropriate difficulty with support available. Learning to tie your shoes is frustrating, but you have someone there to help. That builds resilience. Overwhelm is responsibility beyond your developmental capacity with no safety net. Managing your parents' depression at age 8 isn't building resilience. It's survival adaptation. Your brain doesn't get stronger, it gets scarred. And yes, some people who grew up this way are grateful for it. It made me who I am. I'm stronger because of it. This isn't wrong, but it's often incomplete. What they're really saying is, I survived and I'm proud of that survival. That's valid, but survival is the bare minimum. The question isn't, did you make it through? It's, at what cost? Many discover later that their strength was built on suppressing their own needs, that their maturity was actually just fawning, a trauma response where you become what others need to stay safe, that their independence was actually just a very sophisticated form of hiding. You can be grateful for your strength and grieve what you lost. Both are true. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Growing up too fast doesn't make you mature. It makes you incomplete. Real maturity isn't skipping childhood. It's integrating all your developmental stages: the child who plays, the adolescent who rebels, the adult who takes responsibility. When you skip straight to the last one, you're not ahead, you're fractured. Inside every adult who grew up too fast is a child who never learned they were allowed to need things. And that child is still there, waiting. They're waiting for permission to be imperfect, waiting for someone to say, "You don't have to hold everything together," waiting to discover that being cared for isn't weakness, it's the foundation of genuine strength. The cruel irony? These people give endlessly to others, but can't receive. They're experts at love, as long as they're the ones providing it. Being on the receiving end feels unbearable. But here's the truth that therapy slowly reveals. Learning to need people isn't regression, it's healing. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's completion. Resting isn't lazy, it's revolutionary. You didn't grow up too fast because you were strong. You grew up too fast because you had no choice. And now, finally, you do. If you recognize yourself in this, here's what you need to know. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's stuck in a survival mode. It doesn't need any more. That hypervigilance that saved you as a child, it's not protecting you now, it's exhausting you. You don't need to stay strong. You need to learn that you're finally safe enough to fall apart. And that's terrifying because falling apart was never an option before. But here's the secret. When you have genuine support, falling apart doesn't destroy you, it integrates you. Small steps matter. Practice the phrase, "I need help," even when it feels humiliating. Notice when you're overextending and ask yourself, whose responsibility is this really? Let someone do something for you without immediately reciprocating. Rest without earning it first. These feel impossible because your brain learned that they're dangerous. But they're not. They're corrective experiences, teaching your nervous system that dependency doesn't equal abandonment, that rest doesn't precede disaster, that you're worthy of care even when you're not being useful. One therapist put it beautifully. You spent your childhood taking care of everyone else. Your healing is learning that you're allowed to be on that list too. The child who grew up too fast became an adult who's forgotten how to be young, how to play without purpose, how to rest without guilt, how to need without shame. But that forgetting isn't permanent. It's protective. And when you're finally safe, truly safe, that child is still there, waiting to be found. You don't need to become irresponsible to heal. You don't need to abandon your strength. You just need to build what was missing, the foundation beneath the tower, the childhood you never had. And here's the beautiful, terrifying truth. It's not too late. You can give yourself what you needed then. You can learn slowly and imperfectly to be both strong and soft, both capable and vulnerable, both the caretaker and the one being cared for. The child inside you who raised themselves is tired. Let someone else hold things for a while. You've earned it.